episode of Delusional Sports. We got actually getting drafted in Flash, missing again. Did he come back on the flight?
Yeah, he's MIA right now though.
MIA, okay.
We
don't know where Flash is.
Are you sure about that though? Because I heard the flight crashed down in the Pacific Ocean not too long ago.
I was on the flight.
Anyway, and then actually getting drafted is not with us either. But we got Z back. And then your boys, we got Chin and Ricky. So the Saints lost to the Vikings. What happened?
The Vikings needed another miracle, and they got one. Their miracle was just Kirk Cousins being a capable quarterback this time. Finally, on a big stage, he gets a win, something that's never happened or almost never happened. So, yeah, they got their miracle, just came in a different fashion this time.
I will say that seeing that game go into overtime, I thought the Saints were actually going to be like, no, we're winning this because Drew Brees needs a Super Bowl win before he retires. But obviously, Kirk Cousins told him no, and they won that in overtime. So,
I mean, he has won Super Bowl.
Yeah, one.
Drew Brees has won one?
Yeah, just one.
He beat the Colts.
Oh well.
And all I have to say is, need I say any more? No, but the Vikings just had the better roster. Breeze, he had 4 games off this year. So once we got down to the last few games, he did look a little overrated. But their roster's really good, and he's just run out of time to be an elite quarterback. I watched the game, definitely the whole first quarter. I don't know if you guys were watching, but they got calls left and right, and I was like, oh, this is just a makeup for the last, Super Bowl. Last playoff appearance, Saints in the Super Bowl. That's a touchy subject. But the last playoff appearance they had, and they still couldn't come up with a win. I mean, they were getting calls all first quarter, and then once again, they want to whine about one play at the end that didn't go their way.
And it was not pass interference.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a bang corner the corner wasn't even turned around.
Yeah, every receiver does that on jump balls. Like,
yeah.
You see it everywhere. They're not going to just call it for the biggest decision of the game or whatever.
Right. So, all right, anyway, moving on. Patriots lost to the Titans, as we all know. What's next for the Patriots, Ricky?
Well, I feel like Tom Brady is either going to do one of these two things: retire and just settle his career with 6 rings, or he's going to go to a different team and maybe play a backup. But I watched a highlight, and Tom Brady was sitting there looking like a bitch on the field when he lost to the Titans. So,
I know. I think I don't see Brady in another uniform. I think they bring him back just for 1 or 2 more years. Give him another go-round with maybe some more weapons. They thought they did well with giving him what they had, but they really seemed to struggle in the playoffs. There was a lot of drop balls that were definitely catchable. They give Tom and Belichick like 1 or 2 more years together, and then if it doesn't work out like it used to, they move on.
All right, honestly, I think it should be mutual. Get rid of Brady. And then bring in someone, maybe even Jameis Winston. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that could work.
Because I heard that the Buccaneers might not want him back. Or bring in maybe someone like Rivers that might have a little bit more juice on him than Brady does. I mean, Brady's just, this year, he just fell off a cliff. Or just draft a QB of the future. Honestly, any 3 of those, I'd be like, okay, like I see what the Patriots are doing here.
Also, the Phillip Rivers thing. I remember talking about this with you guys not too long ago. If he was part of a different franchise, like with not the Chargers, he'd probably have a couple Super Bowl wins by now. So I would say stick him with the Patriots and see what they can do.
Yeah, maybe. And I just thought it was a good idea. Like I said, he might have a little bit more juice, although like he's kind of looks like he's falling off a cliff too. So I mean, he might not be the best option. And then Belichick will stay. One of the interesting things that will be next year, in my opinion, will be Belichick has the Patriots, and Tom Brady is wherever he's at, and who's really running the show. But at the same time, I get if Brady does underperform that he is past his prime in a sense. So I can't really be like, okay, this is it. Oh, Belichick went 11-5 and Brady went 7-9. No, I mean honestly, think it'd be pretty even if that was the case.
I agree.
But I would love to see that next year. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, who's actually running it. Because we know that Belichick had previous years before Brady, but I think it was just the perfect storm to create a culture with Brady at the helm. But I think that if they do bring in at least an above average quarterback, that they could do really well next year.
Yeah.
Especially with the division they're in.
And honestly, if they take my route where they give Brady like 2 more years, they need to draft, say, Jake Fromm. He's projected in the 3rd round right now, so if they get him in late 2nd and they groom him with Tom Brady, I mean, shoot, they could have a good quarterback for years to come. He's beaten out 2 or 3 5-stars at Georgia that were supposed to take his place. Like, he was the quarterback of Georgia's future, and then Jake Fromm said no because he's just like a Tom Brady type of guy. He's that locker room guy, the leader that you guys look up to, makes everyone play good around him. I just think he'd be a great fit to go under Tom Brady.
Yeah, all right, moving on. The Seahawks and Texans also advanced this weekend. Do they go any further than the division round, Ricky?
I think that the Seahawks definitely stand a chance against the Packers. I feel like they'll at least make the championship round. I think it's maybe a 5 out of 10 chance that they make the Super Bowl this year, but I definitely think they'll beat the Packers and go further than the divisional round just because I feel like the Seahawks have a little more experience in the playoffs.
Okay.
That's as far as both of these teams go. I think I don't see the Chiefs losing to the Texans. I just think they are going to use the fuel from last year, getting screwed. They're just going to go off firing out on all cylinders, and we've seen a mediocre Aaron Rodgers this year. Like for his past, this has been a pretty mediocre year. But playoff Aaron Rodgers is a different animal. He's just not easily shaken, and he always comes in clutch, it seems.
The Chiefs and Texans thing, I feel like I'm locked in on Chiefs for the AFC for the Super Bowl just because they nearly clinched that last year, and then they're back in the playoffs, and I feel like I hate to say it, but Patrick Mahomes has a little more experience than Lamar Jackson, so
they got a better defense this year too.
Okay. I see the Seahawks potentially going to the Super Bowl. In my opinion, at this point, it's either the Niners or the Seahawks. And if they both lose this week, I'm just cursed. I don't know. But, yeah, I believe that they beat the Packers and then they beat the Niners to go to the Super Bowl. They're just, like Ricky said, they're pretty experienced when it comes to the playoffs. Russell Wilson's never missed a playoff. Like, he's always made the playoffs. They still got Bobby Wagner. They still got a lot of really good players. And it's kind of the perfect storm. They're kind of getting healthy right now. They're kind of, even bringing in Marshawn Lynch and stuff. It's just kind of the perfect storm for them to go to the Super Bowl.
right.
And then on the Texans side, they're going to lose to the Chiefs. They honestly got lucky against the Bills. They just don't look like a complete team. They look like a good roster, but they don't look like a complete team. And that's my opinion on that.
The Seahawks situation, I'd have to agree with you for the Seahawks potentially going to the Super Bowl, especially with Marshawn Lynch back. I imagine Marshawn Lynch is gonna, even though it's not against the Patriots, I imagine he's gonna want to try and at least make it to the Super Bowl and get another Super Bowl win.
Yeah, as you said, he has some unfinished business to take care of.
Do you think he's gonna have a bigger role this week since he's been back a full week?
I think he's definitely going to have a bit of a bigger role.
I would agree.
I've realized that Russell Wilson's definitely giving him the ball more, getting him to run the ball, and especially when it comes into the red zone, they're right there, and then Marshawn Lynch will just power his way through.
The perfect back to just push it in.
Which at the same time, I feel like old school beast mode actually might be getting outmatched by new school beast mode, which is Derrick Henry. But
and also the Packers have a bad run defense, so look to him to have a good game. So,
but my main worry would be the Packers pass rush because Russell Wilson mostly goes for passing rather than running. So
But if they can't keep him contained, as you've seen last week,
right.
he can definitely be dangerous.
He's definitely a quality
danger
runner.
to us. So
Play action, pass Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Moving on to the NBA now. What's going on in the NBA this week?
So the Thunder are 9-1 in their last 10 games. They are looking like the biggest surprise in the NBA, not named the Miami Heat. They're doing it a little different than the traditional. They have a 3-point guard lineup that has just torched teams late in games. Like they can't keep up with all three of them.
Do you know who the lineup is?
It's usually Chris Paul, Gilgeous-Alexander, Schroeder, Gallinari, and Steven Adams.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's a pretty good five to put out there.
yeah, because
It's
Gallinari
honestly
really
the best
stretches.
five.
Yeah. But yeah, when they get to that lineup late in games, they have the most what do they call it? Clutch wins. Like they're losing late in the fourth and they come back and win. They lead the league in that stat. So they're a fun team to watch.
I'm definitely gonna have to agree. OKC's 121-106 to win over the Cavs Saturday night was pretty impressive, honestly. And I'd have to agree with the point guard. The point guard setup is definitely gonna help us throughout this season. So.
Okay. Well, I got Alonzo Ball, man. He's been finally popping off. He's finally healthy. He's finally popping off, and you can finally see what he can do on a basketball court when he's healthy and he's confident. I think a huge reason his first 2 years didn't work out well outside of injuries is when he was on the court. It was confidence. Like whether it was coaching or not, they told him most likely it was the coaching. They told him dribble the ball to the court, pass it off. Like that's not what a point guard should do. In one of the games, he gave Etuan Moore. He had 27 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, and him and Etuan Moore fucking torched the entire fourth quarter. Like it wasn't even a thing. And Lonzo knew who was on fire, and he got on the ball every time. Etuan Moore. And then he had a pretty good outing against his former team, the Lakers. They lost that game, but he let them know, like, hey, you messed up. But they did mess up because Anthony Davis had the 46, and the win. So.
Well, what's your comments on Zach LaVine for his last game?
Zach LaVine? I don't know. I mean, he needs to get better. I mean, he needs to get more consistent. But he is playing really well.
Right.
But I think he's kind of on one of those teams that they're not like they're. I'm not gonna say they're really bad, but they're bad. They're kind of a bad team. Right. So there's always going to be one player on that team to score a lot of points. Right. So I kind of want to see him on a good team and see if he can keep that consistent. Right. Consistency. Kind of like I feel like Jamal Murray. He scores less points, but I feel like if Jamal Murray switched places with him, Jamal Murray would be scoring those type of outings. Right. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is Kevin Love wants out of Cleveland, and it's really obvious. So I mean, where do you think he should go? I mean, he has a kind of a big contract. Should you go back to Minnesota? Should you get traded back for Wiggins?
Well, actually, there has been talks of. In the past, there's been talks of the Thunder acquiring Kevin Love. Yeah. And we've been looking to kind of get rid of Steven Adams for some reason. I mean, I like him.
Yeah.
But
Steven Adams, in my opinion, is definitely one of our best players.
Yeah, I feel like he's an underrated glue guy. Like he's going to impact the team in a positive way no matter what. Especially since he's like, in my opinion, one of our only big guys for defense. Yeah, right. So. Right. But the contracts match up, and if we are looking to run more small ball, Kevin Love stretches the floor and can play inside.
Right. Who would you trade? You would just trade Steven Adams straight up for him?
Well, there'd probably be like a couple little.
Right. So just nothing major. Just,
that
would be the main.
That would be the main key assets of the trade.
Wait, if you guys were to trade, would you trade Steven Adams, or would you trade like Gallinari?
I would probably rather trade Gallinari just because Steven Adams, in my opinion, I know Gilgeous Alexander has really stepped up since Russell
Yeah.
Westbrook and PG
Yeah, he's
left.
almost untradeable.
He's,
at this
he's
point.
looking like an
But
all-star.
but,
Yeah.
but at the same time, Steven Adams has kind of stepped up his game recently since their departure as well. So I'd honestly rather keep Steven Adams.
I don't think we change our team at all, but like
Right.
that would be a trade scenario that would work and has been talked about in the past.
Right. I think an interesting team he could go to is maybe like probably the Celtics. Probably any typical team you hear of.
Oh yeah. Return of the Stash Bros with Ennis Canner.
Yeah, and I
Go
mean
to the-
it would be probably a good place for him. I don't know who exactly they trade off of.
Go to the Celtics to replace Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean he's a small forward, but yeah.
Well,
Or
yeah,
power forward.
yeah. What I mean is like
A
What-
good player
what-
from the Cavs.
no. What I mean is like Kyrie went to the Nets and they need another good player. So
Right.
why not just get Kevin Love on there?
But Kevin Dove is kind of injured riddle, so I don't know if I would ever take that plunge with that type of contract. But
Yeah,
I definitely understand why the Cavs did it back then, but not now. It's kind of just like, is he gonna get hurt? So it's
Which
kind of one of those things that I wouldn't really touch.
speaking about the Cavs, I was watching top plays of the decade from
Right.
the 2010 decade. There was really like pretty good clutch plays back from when LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love were all on the Cavs, and I didn't really realize how good of a team they were back then
Oh,
until
yeah.
now.
Right. And the last thing I want to talk about NBA wise was the Kings are trying to pry Kuzma from the Lakers, and if that's the case, who would they give up?
I think they would give up like a Bogdanovich and
I heard for sure Bogdanovich has to be on the table.
okay.
So
So I'd probably say like a Bogdanovich and probably like another power forward.
yeah, probably like
I don't know how to say his name.
Harry Giles or something like
Maybe.
that.
I was thinking the big white guy that shoots threes.
Kind
The foreign.
I don't. Okay. I mean,
of racist, see?
Well, he is foreign.
yeah, he's foreign.
Well, no, you said the.
I don't
big-
remember his name, but
Yeah,
I know you're talking.
He's
no,
like
no,
70.
no,
he's
no,
like number
what-
77 or
Well,
something.
Oh, Bjelica.
Yes, that's how you
Well,
say it. Okay.
what I'm saying is that you said the big white guy. That's kind of.
Okay.
does
Anyway,
it not narrow it
anyway,
down?
who do you think that they should trade for him, or like who should the Lakers?
I honestly, I think the Lakers need to keep Kuzma, honestly,
Right.
because from what I can tell, Kuzma, especially with LeBron
Well,
and AD,
Right.
is probably one of the main reasons why they're one of the hottest teams in the league right now.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, seeing as Kuzma's 23, 24 now, I think he's 24 now. Buddy Hill's 24.
Oh,
I think that would really, if the Lakers wanted to get rid of Kuzma, now I don't think they do, but if they do, I think they would have to go after like Buddy Hield, because one, he's a good scorer,
I
and
think
just
Buddy's
more
too hard to
score.
give up.
I mean, they could give. Well, I guess they gave all their draft picks to the Pelicans, but I feel like they could give Kuzma and like Rondo. I mean, they probably don't want Rondo. They've had Rondo on their team before,
Yeah.
or just one of their good Avery Bradley.
Yeah, true.
Just someone like that for Hield. And that would just give them more shooters around LeBron and AD.
That would be great for LeBron.
That would just and Hield wouldn't have to try as hard to get shots
Right.
either, because
But
him and Danny Green on the court is
at
that
the-
would be fun to see.
Fields
At the same
looking like a
time,
good
the Lakers need to think about if we lose Kuzma and gain someone else, is that going to cause our season to go downhill from here on out, or is it going to?
But why would it?
Or is
I
it
don't
going to?
think
But
so.
Kuzma hasn't.
Better?
Okay, so what we're saying is Kuzma hasn't impacted the season as most people would have liked,
Right.
although they are doing really well. So if they do move off Kuzma, who do they get? And I really think they would have to get someone like Hield or Bogdanovich, because they're good shooters, and you surround LeBron with shooters.
In that case, I would say Bogdanovich, honestly.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I agree with it. I'm just saying, if it's not him, you kind of just say, Hield or bust, because
Right.
I'm not giving up.
At
Kuzma for
the
anything
same
else.
time, would you say that most of the Lakers' points is inside the paint rather than outside the 3-point line?
Right, but that's
Right.
because of Anthony Davis. But if you surround Anthony Davis and LeBron with 3-point shooters like Danny Green and
Right.
The whole team
Buddy Hield?
becomes more dangerous.
Yeah,
Not
Exactly.
that team
just
is-
those two.
Which
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
and then you couldn't double team Anthony Davis because you have the Buddy Hild's on the
Yeah, you have
on
to
the
Exactly.
court.
or else he's
So-
torching you.
I just think it's very interesting to see with the deadline coming up here in a month. So, a couple of months. No, it's a month. Yeah, it's a month.
Yep.
They got 1 month until the deadline.
up on
So
All-Star.
crazy stuff's about to happen, and I thought that was a couple interesting trades. But anyway, yeah, that'll do it. That'll be all for this episode of Delusional Sports. See you guys.
Peace.